samtal om dieter och träning så ska det handla om 5-2-dieten just nu. För när den kom ut i bokform i Sverige 2013 så fick den helt osannolik genomslagskraft. Enkelt förklarat så går 5-2-dieten ut på att man äter normalt 5 dagar i veckan och sen fastar man 2 dagar i veckan. Och det här anses då vara ett bra sätt att hålla koll på vikten eller till och med gå ner i vikt om det behovet finns. Bakom den här boken stod Michael Mosley som är vetenskapsjournalist och läkare. Och Michael Mosley var på Sverigebesök i veckan för att varna för den globala överviktsepidemin och för högt blodsocker och diabetes typ 2 som Mosley faktiskt beskriver som en av vår tids absolut största hot.
I feel kind of, I don't know, intimidated
Yes,
when I'm supposed to order food when you're with me.
indeed. You're not tempted?
A little bit.
What
but
would you normally buy if I wasn't here?
Okay, I would definitely have a sandwich.
Okay.
Not with meat, because I don't do meat.
Yep.
And something sweet and coffee with milk.
Of course.
Okay.
But today, I will not. Does that happen to you, that people get intimidated when they eat and you're around?
Generally not, because they know I'm kind of quite... My wife, for example, she would probably have the same thing.
Okay.
Because she doesn't have a problem. She's slim like you. She has no problems with her blood sugar levels. She eats healthily 95% of the time. So
I like food.
Yeah, she doesn't
Not
feel
sweets.
compelled. She loves food, and she loves, but she isn't compelled to finish it. So if I were to buy that, I would eat the whole thing.
And probably 2 more if you could.
Probably not 2 more, but I'd certainly eat 1. I don't stop, you see, and I know that about myself. When I buy a packet of biscuits, my wife can buy a packet of biscuits and put it in the cupboard and forget about it. I buy a packet of biscuits, which I never do. I take 1, and then I go back to the cupboard and I take another 1. And then I go back to the cupboard and I take another 1, and suddenly the whole packet is gone.
You know something, I love it that you talk about that, because knowing everything that you know and telling everybody that this is a problem that I have as well.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
That means something, I think.
It's really difficult. It's very, very challenging. Even to do the things I recommend you do, it's really challenging. And you have to be aware. I have a very sweet tooth. So, you know, in the good old days, before I had signs of type 2 diabetes, I would have happily eaten all this stuff. I like sandwiches. I would probably have had a nice fizzy drink, you know.
But not today.
Not today.
Not today.
Today's black coffee.
Does it worry you that we mix things up as human beings? For example, that we mix things up when it comes to health and when it comes to beauty?
No, I think the two are intrinsically mixed, to be honest. I think there is an aesthetic, if you like, that if you eat healthily, if you eat high sugar diet, you are going to get spots, your skin is going to age. I've looked at a study where they measure the blood sugar levels of people, and they take photographs and they get people to guess how old they are. And the higher blood sugar levels, the older you look. It gives you wrinkles, it destroys the underlying structure, it makes you look fat and it makes you look sick. So I think there is an absolute link between how good you look, how good you feel, and what you eat.
You're the man behind the 5-2 diet.
Yes.
Could you ever imagine the impact that this would have in the world?
Not at all, no. And people still stop me in the street 4 years on and still say, hi, I did the 5-2 diet, it's great for me. Or sometimes they stop me and say, I tried the 5-2 diet, but I got too irritated and I had to give up. But yeah, no, it's been phenomenal.
Why do you think that it worked so well?
I think that men in particular seem to like it because it's very simple, it's very straightforward, and it's easy to kind of build into your life. I think people liked the fact that there was some interesting science behind it. I think people from the religious community like the fact that I acknowledged that fasting was something that all the great religions have done. And I think that people just found it a different way of addressing the question of diet and things like that. I think a lot of people did it just to lose weight. Some people did it to improve things like eczema, asthma, whatever it might be. So there was a whole range of reasons.
What was the beginning of everything, your idea? Where did it come from?
Essentially, I discovered that I was a type 2 diabetic, and that was about nearly 5 years ago. And my doctor wanted me to go on medication. And I said I would like to find out if there's something else I can do.
And also it's important at this stage to emphasize that diabetes type 1 and type 2 are really different things.
They are very different. I mean, it's interesting that Sweden has, at the time when I wrote the 5-2 diet, I didn't write about diabetes at all, because I didn't know any studies that had been done about type 2 diabetes. I didn't know if it was a good idea or a bad idea. I knew that I had reversed my own diabetes, that my blood sugar levels had gone back to normal. I wrote briefly about that, but I didn't make a big thing about it because I didn't really understand what was going on. And I subsequently found out the work of Professor Roy Taylor, who's a diabetes specialist in England, and he is the hero of my new book. So there's a villain. Every story needs somebody who goes on a journey. Moi. They need a villain. It's type 2 diabetes, which is one of the great threats to humanity, and it needs a hero. And my hero is Professor Roy Taylor.
Tell me about the threat. Tell me about diabetes type 2.
Absolutely. So
you have actually said that this is one of the most dangerous things that we have to fight.
It is the biggest chronic threat disease in the world today. In the UK, we have a serious problem of obesity and rising rates of type 2 diabetes, which are going to absolutely destroy the economy because we're living longer. The cost of diabetes has been calculated around $25 billion a year now. It's about a quarter of the NHS budget. They're cutting off thousands of legs every year because of type 2 diabetes. Sweden, projected rates are expected to double. Rates of diabetes in Sweden are lower but not low. So around 7%, up from 6% to around 7% in the last 6 years, and projected to double within a generation, and at particularly high rates in immigrant populations. So you're going to face a serious problem going forward, and the rest of the world catastrophic, truly catastrophic. I was in Vietnam, and a doctor there told me they're cutting off more legs because of diabetes than during the height of the Vietnam War because of landmines. So we have a massive, massive global problem coming on, and for the first time in history, more deaths are caused by overeating and eating the wrong foods than were ever caused by malnutrition.
But why do we do this to ourselves? We know that you should only eat what the body needs.
Yeah.
You have to move your body. Why do we do this to us?
Because we have no genes which tell us to do more exercise, because if you're a caveman or woman, you want to conserve energy. There is nothing in your body which tells you that running is a good idea. So we have no
Unless
incentive
you have a
to do it.
lion behind you.
Exactly. Yeah, then you really run. But we have a very powerful drive to eat. Hunger is absolutely primal. And unfortunately, most of the advice we get from the experts and things like that is low-fat diet. And if you eat a low-fat diet, you often eat a very high sugar diet because you have to eat something. And when you do that, the sugar drives insulin. The insulin is a very powerful hormone which drives hunger, it drives cancer, it also drives fat storage. So an unfortunate side effect of being obsessed by fat over the last few decades is that people have consumed huge amounts of sugary drinks and things like that.
But how do you manage then? What could you tell people that find it difficult?
You need support. It's really important that you have other people, members of the family, on board with you, because they will otherwise sabotage it. Oh, have a little biscuit, have a little, and they have to believe that this is really good for you and you need to do it. You have to have a plan, you need to measure things. If you are on medication, you have to get your doctor's help and support, and then you have to clear the junk out. So you have to clear everything out. You cannot have biscuits and chocolate and fizzy drinks in the house because you will eat them.
Would you say that 5-2 is a diet or is it a lifestyle?
I think the lifestyle, probably. So the blood sugar diet is an extension of it.
Yes.
There are 3 options within it. One is a kind of rapid one, which is 800 calories for 8 weeks. Average weight loss in that is 15 kilos in clinical trials. If you don't fancy that, or at some point you want to change over, then there's what I would describe as 2-5, where you do it during the week and perhaps at the weekends you have a more generous time. You may want to graduate onto 5-2, depending on how things are going, where you just do it, the 800 calories, and it's kind of up, if you like, from the levels I was suggesting when I originally wrote the book. Because some people struggle with 500 or 600 calories, and that's why I say to be kind to yourself. The figure of 600 calories was only ever based on animal studies. So everybody's different. You've got to find something which works for you.
That works over time.
Over time. And you see, I don't see, say, the 5-2. I suspect for most people, some people stick to it and they enjoy it because it makes them feel good, it energizes them. I do it 1 day a week probably. I do it mainly on Mondays because there is good evidence that you retain the benefits. And my wife said I was getting too skinny.